Hey guys, welcome to another session of Ninja Hack. It's been a while and honestly miss you guys. So on this episode, we'll be taking a look at how we can explore the LetsDefend platform, and the purpose is to build up our analytical skill, how we can investigate security events, incidents, and also provide remediation, right? So the LetsDefend platform is just like TrackMe, is basically built for defenders, right? Blue team and SOC analysts, cybersecurity analysts, helping them to build their investigation, their analytical skill, teaching them how to investigate events that are critical within the environment. So in this line, we'll be taking a look at how we can some of the challenges that we have on the platform and how we can investigate these events, and provide the proper remediation, right? So this platform kind of depicts how a SOC environment is, where we have a monitoring dashboard, we have a log management, we have case management, endpoint security, and the likes, right? So the first thing we want to do is that we want to pay attention to the monitoring dashboard. This is what analysts do, right? On a daily basis, they want to monitor, see events that are critical, events that are medium and high. So they pay attention to these events and find a way to remediate them as soon as possible. So we have about 3 events that are high, that are classified as high severity. So we'll be picking just one of them for this session today, and let's see how we investigate further. So we'll be taking a look at the SOC 142, right? That is the EventID 89, right? That has multiple HTTP 500 response. So let's take a look at these and investigate further. We can see that these events actually occurred or was captured on the 18th of April 2021 around 1 p.m. And also we can see information around the source IP address and also the destination IP address, right? Then we can see destination host name. We can see details around the request URL. If you take a look at it very carefully, you will see that we have seem to be like we have an embedded XQL injection within the URL, right? Then, of course, we have the user agent, which shows that this request was from a browser, right? Where we have Mozilla 5.0, then we have the Chrome. And very importantly, we can see that if this event was allowed or not, it was allowed based on what was captured from we can see on the monitoring dashboard, right? So we are going to go on to, take a more in-depth look at what this event is all about. Like, let's get to see the raw logs, what is actually happening in the background. So to do this, we'll go on to the log management, where we'll filter for that particular source IP address, right? Okay, so I'm just going to filter for this IP address because we have a lot of logs in here. Okay, so we can see that these are events as per the source IP address, right? So we can check the raw logs from this part where we have, okay, so we can, just like I was saying earlier, this seems to be like an embedded SQL injection. What I'm seeing here is just like, there seems to be like an attack was carried on with several attempts using SQL injection that has been embedded on the URL, and the response code from the server was 500. Let's see. You can see it also. You can also check what the response code 500 means from Google, and you can see what it means is internal server error. So we are getting internal server error when the request was made to the server, which is to the .20.6, this destination server, which is the F12 server we saw on the dashboard, right? Okay, let's take a look at what we have for others. Okay, you can see this seems to be like there are several attempts that was made, and the server keeps on returning error 500, right? Same thing, we can see the request URL containing user number 1 and select all from users. This is a format for SQL injection, which is embedded within that URL, you know. Okay, so this seems to be like the attacker was trying to carry out several attempts, you know, and it was getting this same error. Let's see. Oh, so at some point, there seemed to be like there was a successful response, because at this point we are getting response error, response code 200, which means that the server successfully responded, right? So if we take a look at what we have here, we can see that, okay, so this also like a format for SQL injection attack, and you can see a query request was made, and this seems to be like the output file, right? cmd.php. Okay, wow. So if we have even just one successful response, that means there might be, this is looking at the fact that this event or this attempt was successful at some point. You can see even at this point, the attacker was trying to, you know, carry out what we call remote code execution, trying to see, gather details about that particular destination server by running the who am I command, right? Guys, so I think we need to, okay, so we also have another response here. So there seem to be like there are several attempts, and some of those attempts were very successful from what we have in the log. Okay, so what we need to do is we'll go back to our monitoring dashboard and take ownership of this event based on what we've seen so far. So what we'll also do right away is to go into these and let's take ownership so that we can investigate along with what we have on the playbook, right? So you can just click here and take ownership, right? All right. So some other things that I want to pay attention to at this point, guys, is don't forget, let's take a look at what this IP is. Let's take a look at the reputation of this IP. Again, on you know, a very good place to start is on VirusTotal, right? Let's take a look at if there's any information on the IP on VirusTotal that we need to pay attention to. Oh, guys, we can see that the IP address is flagged from 5 vendors that we have. You can see that, and this is giving us an indication that it's kind of malicious, right? Okay, let's take a look at some of the details that we have on this IP address. Okay, guys. Okay, let's scroll down. All right. Wow. Okay. I'm not seeing any much details. Okay, let's take a look at, let's scroll down. Okay, let's look. You're taking a look at the Wiz lookup. Okay. Just trying to see if there's anything spectacular about this IP address that we need to take note of. Continent, you can see country. Is this Hong Kong? Wow. All right. Okay. Okay. So I don't think there's any much information that we can gather from this event, but so far so good. Let's take a look at. See, guys, I think it's saying Hong Kong or something. That's where it is from. All right. So let's also take a look at some other platform that we have. Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to check on Talos, on Cisco Talos. Let's see, do we have any more information about these? All right, guys, let's take a look at what we have here. You're seeing that the reputation is unknown. Okay, so it's just listed on, it is blacklisted on Spam House. Let's see what we have here. Kind of untrusted. Yeah, we've taken a look at the WIS information earlier. Okay, let's see. So we can see that it was just blacklisted on Spam House. Okay. All right, so let me just take a, okay, you can see Central Hong Kong, they have information around it that the IP address is, from Hong Kong, was listed. All right. So that is telling us that this is actually like a malicious IP address, guys. Okay, so let's go back to our information. So right about now, we'll start, let's create a case on this based on the information, because we've checked on VirusSuite and we see that it was flagged. Also, we've checked on Spam House that it is blacklisted. So let's create a case considering the fact that this is classified as an high alert, guys. Okay. All right. So this is how LetsDefend work. We're going to start off a playbook and answer the question alongside, So then, okay, so the first is, let's check alert details, for below: source IP address, destination. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I open the monitoring tab in a different place, because we have, yeah. Okay. So you can see, so we have the source IP address, right? So let's go into the case. So next, okay, so this is what we've done already. We've searched the log management for details about the event. Then you can see that, so analyze URL, right? Using third party. So yes, we did that using VirusTotal, right? We analyze the IP address and we discover that it is actually malicious, right? So, so has anyone accessed the IP URL domain? So check the log management whether there's a device that can access this address. These addresses from devices in the network. Yes, we are able to get a successful connection, right? That responded 200 with response code 200. So of course it was accessed. When was it accessed? What is the source IP address? What is the destination IP address? I think we got this information. Yeah. And don't forget it was allowed, right? Please go to the EDR page and contain the user machine. After containment, please click on next to finish. Okay. Wow, is that all? Let's see if we've answered all the questions correctly. Okay. Okay, so it was malicious, right? Yeah. Please go to the EDR, click next. So on the EDR part, Yeah, I think that's the endpoint management. Let me open it. All right, guys. So we have our IP address. Okay, let's filter for the source IP address, which is 172.16.20.6. Then we're going to filter for it. Okay, so you can see this is it. So request contain. Yeah, because we noticed that number one, the event was allowed, and two, there was a remote code execution, done via the URL, and like I said, the action was allowed. So we need to contain this imparted endpoint to server, right? So is there any other information we can gather over here? Okay. Okay, so if we also take a look at the command history on the endpoint, well, we can take a look at what we are seeing over here, guys. You can see some command and pwd, print current working directory. So these activities I was kind of sudo out update. Then if we go down to see, is there another information? Okay, who am I? You can see it was done on April around 1 p.m. ID. You can see, we can also see that a Netcat, when an attempt was made using the XQuery injection and access was granted on that server, then Netcat was used to set up a listener, which was done here, right? Then you can see app show PostgreSQL. Okay, so this was the time when the event happened, that is around 1 p.m. So we can see that this seems to be like a malicious behavior, because why would you be setting up a listener on the why we seeing activities around a listener being set up on the destination server? Okay, so guys, what else do we have here? Okay, so these are the various processes that are running on that machine itself. Okay, again, you can see different processes, NCAT, like I said earlier. Then we have a PHP CGI. Let's see what's this all about. Let's take a look at the hash. This is something that's vulnerable. Let's take a look at what we have, if this process is vulnerable or not. Okay, we are not seeing anything on this particular hash, right? Right. See, I think the information we had is the IP address. So just going to go back to see what we have here. Sorry. All right. You have my XYD. System CTL. This seems to be like a Linux server that's running an XQuery. XQuery on it, guys. Yeah. So there are several processes that we are seeing a wget Python process. A talk command was run. System CTL was done. Okay, so we can see a listener was done, was also carried out. Listening on this IP, you can see the destination IP address on this port. So this is where the malicious activities is carried out. So guys, this particular Ubuntu server needs to be contained. So once again, we'll go back to our case management, then click on next. Okay, so we need to add artifact. So from what we've seen so far, one of the artifacts that we gathered was the IP address, right? Okay, sorry. IP address is malicious IP. Yeah, from Hong Kong, right? Then we also have other artifact. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so can also add other artifact from it. From our monitoring dashboard, right? Oh, sorry, the log management. So at this point, let me open this on a new tab. So on the log management, guys, we can also see the various activities that was done as per the IP, right? Let's take a look at what we have here. These are some of the artifacts that we can gather, right? Attempts where that contain XQuery injection on it. All right, so what are we going to put this as a URL address, malicious URL with XQuery injection. Yeah. So guys, that's what we're going to do. Let's add. I think we see have like about some other artifacts. Okay, so we also have these also. This is also an artifact XQuery injection embedded within the URL, right? So I'm going to add these. So this is how it is, guys. You have, your findings. You're going to articulate your findings that shows that this is some sort of true positive, incident that needs to pay attention to, right? And the same thing here. Just going to copy and keep all this together. I think let's just run through and copy all these artifacts, quite a few. Okay. All right. And this is a URL address. And I'm just going to copy these. Yeah. So don't forget, guys, this is how it is also being done in a SOC environment. You have to investigate, gather your artifact, gather your information, and so that proper decision can be taken on what to do, right? Okay, I think we should also have these. So I'm just trying to make sure that we capture as much as possible the artifacts that, right? Then this is a URL, then of course, yeah, let's see, do we have any other? It's an artifact. Okay, then we have, yeah, this is where access was granted. So I'm just going to copy this out. Access was granted. Okay. Yeah. URL. Then I'm just going to copy out the last one. I think this is it. This was the one I copied earlier. Yeah, on mine. All right. So guys, these are some of the acts. All right. So from what we've been able to gather, that the server, the SQL SQL server running on the Ubuntu OS, right? OS is highly compromised. Yes, guys, it's highly compromised, and I will recommend we have firewall or a WAF solution installed. Since this is a server, WAF solution installed to control against XK injection attacks. Also, the database, the application database DB needs to have needs to contain input validation to control, right? Control against X-ray injection attacks. Right. All right, guys. So at this point, I feel that this is what we can, yeah. Okay. So we can finish up. Okay. So guys, we're able to. Okay. So now we can close our alert on the monitoring page. Right. You can see. We can go on the monitoring page and close our alert. So guys, wow, we're able to score all points. So thank you guys for listening. So this is how we investigate this attack, right? So let's see, sorry. Okay, so on the close alert, I think, okay, this is it, guys. Okay. So it's asking us, is it a true positive? Of course, it's a true positive. Yeah. This is a true positive, right? As the server was highly compromised. All right. Okay. All right. So, okay. So this is what we need to check. Okay, guys. Yeah. So you can see, be able to gather some points, right? From what was from our investigation so far. So we've been, like I said earlier, guys, you can see the whole process of investigation, analysis, trying to check the reputation of the IP address, check the processes, check the command that was run, you know, so that we can gather this artifact to decide if it's a true or a false positive. So guys, thank you for your time, and we'll meet on our next episode. Guys, bye.